She just recently won her 800th career game, and it's announced that this is her final season as head coach at Weber State. Mary Kay Amicone, thanks for joining me. We're excited to talk to you.
Thanks for having me.
What kind of emotions are going through your mind? Again, this season's certainly not over yet, but what kind of emotions as you know that it's getting toward the end?
Well, it's pretty surreal, honestly. There's a lot that I've reflected on, and it's very special. So it's kind of connecting the dots and being able to have a great reflection on all the people that I've been fortunate to have in my life.
Well, I've talked to you about that before, and that's what you said multiple times. It really is, I mean, I'm sure there's memorable games and so forth, but it's the people, isn't it, that has touched the most for you?
It is. It's the relationships that we get to have together, and all the things that come to this are through the players and the coaches and their families, and certainly my family. Yeah, I couldn't have done it without Mark and Trevor and Derek and the support that I feel from them. And so it makes it even more special. But all the coaches and players that have been a part of my career have made it the legacy that it is.
Yeah. Well, why did you decide that now's the time for this to happen?
It's a point now where passing the torch is a good time. Even before I found out, was surprised that we're going to have a grandbaby. It's just time. The landscape of what I've done and being able to be healthy and travel and do my thing is important to us as a family. And I've missed out on some of the things that are important to our family, and to be able to go and do and go to spring training in Tampa and see Trevor at his craft and Derek doing things, so it's important.
Yeah. Well, we have to look back at some memories, obviously. And we should start with how special Weber State has been to you. Not maybe people don't realize it, not just as a coach, but as a player. This is where you started in the early 80s.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and to think that you started there and now you're finishing here, I mean, what effect has this place had on your life and your career?
It's very special. I was a young person, kind of lost in the way of the world and doing my thing with friends at the University of Utah and club softball. And so Chris Thornock gave me the opportunity to come to Weber State, and I learned so much from her and from my friends that I met at Weber State. And then when the program dropped, transferred to the University of Utah and got my degree there. But they're formative years, yeah. And it helps me so much to remember and relate to some of the things that I did that were pretty knuckleheaded, and then see why our players sometimes they do something and I'm like, yeah, I've been there, did that.
When you were finishing your playing career, did you want to go into coaching? Did you ever think that was a possibility?
I did, but it was more from the teaching side. It was really, I wanted to go into secondary ed, and then when I transferred to Utah, I decided elementary ed would be a great fit, and so that's what I got my degree in. So all of teaching seems to be coaching, so those things align with me.
Mm-hmm. And you've told us before that that's really kind of how your coaching career began, because you were teaching high school and other schools, and they needed a coach, and you stepped in, right?
Yeah. So it's been a great run, because I think back to when Trevor was born. He was born, and a club coach came to me, and his daughter, two men that are really good friends of mine, came to the front door, and they had this little coat that had the bullets, and it had Trevor's name on it, and I didn't even commit. They just brought it, and I looked at it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sold. And it was the summer of one of my teaching elementary school years, and they asked me to coach their 14 and under team because both of their daughters were playing, and I was just like, okay, let's give this a whirl. And so at the time, Trevor was under 1, and my mom would travel with us and take care of him, and I got my heart attached to it.
Yeah, apparently. And fast forward a little bit, you became the first female to coach a boys baseball team at Jordan High. What was that experience like?
It was wild. It was wild. You know, it seemed to be a pretty natural thing for me because I had coached in the summer programs for boys baseball with Derek and Trevor growing up. So it seemed to be more of a natural, you know, this is really, I've coached at a Division I level, so I know how to throw BP, I know how to hit fungo. It was fine, but apparently that wasn't really the nature of society, honestly, at that time. It was more like you're breaking through something that I'm like, well, a lot of men coach women's softball. So did they play softball? Not necessarily. And so it just made sense, but it was definitely a learning curve that every step of my way, I've learned so many great things, good and bad.
I'm sure you have, and so many mentors and other people that have helped you. You transitioned to BYU, the first varsity head coach there.
Yes.
And you won a conference title there as well, and then you went to Salt Lake Community College for 9 years, and then Weber State. So we mentioned it a few weeks ago when you won your 800th career collegiate game. I mean, that's kind of a number it's a huge number. That's a lot of wins over a long time. As you reflected on that, I mean, again, what memories came to mind thinking that you've won that many games?
It is really hard to imagine. As I've talked to our team about it, we really focus on begin with the end in mind, with your degree, with your family, the 60 years that you're done after softball. And I never had a number in mind. I don't keep track of that. It's something that when somebody says something about it, oh, okay, whatever. Honestly, it's more Marks keep track of those things, and I'm like, God, what are you even thinking? You know, so our team, it's special because they're a special group every year. It's this collective bunch of memories with these young people who have really put their heart and soul into being the best that they can be, and our coaching staff, just looking at the years of wonderful things that have happened. Mm-hmm. So it's a privilege and it's an honor to be a part of that.
You came in 2014 to Weber State, and it had we just recently added softball a few years prior to that. But what was your excitement level coming back? Again, knowing it was a newish kind of program, but what was your excitement level to return to Weber State at that time?
Yeah, it seemed like a really good time because Derek and Trevor were finishing high school careers of baseball and moving forward. And I had had a lot of success at Salt Lake, and I thought, you know, if Weber State does open that job, and it coincides with what I want to do, and it was interesting because Utah Valley opened their job and Weber State opened their job, and I made the trip up here, and it was like going back in time. You know, I drove by where I lived when I went to school here and saw where the old field was and the potential for greatness here. And it was just exciting. And I had the love and support of our family and Mark's. We lived in Sandy, so it was kind of challenging. And I really wanted to stay in Sandy and just commute, but it wasn't in the cards.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I could sit here and read off a whole bunch of accomplishments, which I'm sure you don't want me to do. But I mean, you've led Weber State to 10 titles in regular season and tournament titles. You're the Big Sky's all-time leader in wins and so forth. But in this time here, there's got to be a few games or something, a few moments, memories that stand out to you in your time at Weber State. Anything special as far as games are concerned?
You know, it's really hard to narrow things down in that light. It's more about the people and the relationships that we've had. I think when you do reflect on the championship, the first championship that we had at Idaho State, that was huge, because it was this group of special players that had committed to play at Weber State as either junior college transfers or the initial kids that came here. And it was like they had a ceiling, and they didn't know how far they could reach. And we knew when we got to that point that we had everything that it took to do it. They had a passion, they were competitive, and we had the squad to do it. And so things lined up. So that was definitely a moment where we drove back from Pocatello, and we had the championship trophy safety belted into the front seat of the bus. And it was incredible run, because it didn't, it was a tricky run as it was, just because of weather, and you're a 5 seed and going into that, and nobody's really thinking you can do it, but we did.
Well, so many times that's one of them. You've been able to make it to the NCAAs and won a game there as well, and just incredible accomplishments. What do you love most about when you're in a softball game? What is it that you love most about competing and coaching?
Wow, that's a really great question. I love every little moment where I'm with them and I see them have success on areas they've worked so hard on. And to see them improve and see them believe in themselves is the best. And of course, the outcome is that we win, but it's improvement. And yeah, we find it to be a great accomplishment at the end of the day when we can line up all the little things in the process that helps them be successful. So I think watching them be really comfortable in uncomfortable situations with just, it's a new level for many of them and a new team, and they're committing a lot to this program and this institution, and to see them come through and believe in themselves and love their teammates is huge every time we get out there. So I think there are moments when the game is over and I can take a deep breath and say, that was intense. Yeah. Because this game has been really, really great, but it also can scar you with, you're down to that last pitch and something just doesn't go well, and it leaves you to reflect again and go, okay, what was great about this? And where do we start again? And how do we improve upon that? And so I think all those things combined are important steps. And watching them just graduate and work through some really, really tough family situations with, I look back on Z Corda and her time here, and her father and the loss of her father. And they're way off the field things. They're things that unite us in personal experiences that I lost my mom to cancer, and to be able to just relate to those times where the love is deep and compassion is felt, and we've all lost games, but we haven't all lost people in our lives, and they're going through a lot of things. They really are.
Well, again, people, right? That's what you're probably going to miss the most, isn't it? Is the association with those players, coaches, staff, everybody.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think it's knowing that I'm not going to miss out on those, because being retired and being one bike ride away from coming up here and just having fun, harassing people, and being a part of what they do is what I'm excited to do. And so it's just that next, really not goodbye. It's I'll see you later, and I'll see you along those lines, and I'll sure be traveling a lot to see them. And these kids that are in the program now that we recruited, I'm going to walk them through every step of the way, being there just like I have been with them. So it's really not goodbye. It's just, we'll be around.
You'll be around. Okay, what other kind of things do you want to do? What are some future plans that you and your family want to do?
Well, I want to take care of a grandbaby.
Yeah, that's the most exciting thing to come, isn't it?
Yeah,
Your
for
first
sure.
grandchild in June.
Yes, in June. So I'm excited for that, and I'm excited to travel with Mark and do some things that we haven't been able to do really, or just different. I'm really active. I love biking. I love hiking. I love the Ogden area, and I love playing pickleball. I love playing racquetball. Our coaches are tremendous people, and I love staying in touch with them, and our staff meetings are bashing it out kind of on the racquetball court these weeks, and it's a special time, and to know what they've gone through, because I was an assistant for many years, and understanding some of the feelings that they have and being able to step back and go, okay, well, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to learn from it? So those are also things that I'll be around, and if they want a shoulder to cry on or they want somebody to be there, I'm always going to be there for them.
You can still keep your intense competitive spirit on the racquetball court or pickleball court,
oh, for
right?
sure.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, that's not going away.
That's not going away.
Okay.
That's never going to go away.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Coach, we're speaking on behalf of all the fans in Weber State. It's just been a thrill and honor to have you as our coach the last 11 years, hard to believe, at Weber State. You've been a huge part of Wildcat athletics. So thank you for everything that you've done, and we wish you the best. And as you said, you're not going anywhere, so we'll still see you around.
Yes, you will.
And we know the year's not over yet either.
No.
You got more goals to accomplish still.
Yep, we do.
Final question, though. You've mentioned several times about your family. Can you just tell us what they mean to you and why you're so excited for their life and what you get to spend time with them?
Yeah, I think for us as the Amicone family, sports and athletics have been a part of our lives over now. I mean, it's hard to even comprehend. Mark and I, 40 years. And then our sons going the way of athletics, and them kind of understanding when there's great joy and when there's disappointment, and being able to walk them through some of that as well. But now looking forward to supporting them in different areas of their life. So it's all about family, and our players know it's all about family. When they're, they bought into family and environment here, and that whatever happens, the family comes first. And so that is something that I treasure for sure, and I've been completely supported in those highs and lows, and I can't thank them enough. They're just awesome human beings.
Yeah. Well, so are you.
Well,
And
thank you.
Thank you for all you've done again, and we can't wait to see the season end, but sure appreciate all you've done for Weber State. Go Wildcats.
Thank you so much.
Go Wildcats.
Go Wildcats.